The Toronto Blue Jays just shocked everyone in a game where everybody thought the Toronto Blue Jays were going to lose again in heartbreaking fashion. They got no hit yesterday. They went out there today. The offense looked just as bad. Josh Hader was in. Everyone thought the Jays were out of it. And then Davis Schneider did the unthinkable. So we're going to break down this crazy win by the Toronto Blue Jays and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? Nick Gosse, host of Jays Digest, and I did not think I was going to be making this video right now. The Blue Jays, it was the top of the ninth. They're up against the best closer, one of the best closers in baseball, in Josh Hader, the Astros' new acquisition. They're coming off of a game where they got no offense going, and obviously in the last game, the Blue Jays got no hit. And then they go out and do the unthinkable and pull off the win with 2 outs in the top of the ninth by who other than Davis Schneider. So I'm going to break down this absolutely absurd game in this episode. But before we do, quick reminder to hit the subscribe button if you are happy that Jays baseball is back and that we can experience moments like this where everybody thought that the Blue Jays were going to lose. Everybody was sad. Everyone on Twitter, I thought the game was over. Of course, I stayed tuned until the very end. And then Davis Schneider hits an absolute moonshot and wins the game for the Toronto Blue Jays. Just an unbelievable game, and this is kind of what you live for if you're a baseball fan. 6 games into the season, we've seen the Blue Jays get no hit. We've seen an incredible comeback. Who knows what else is going to be in line for the Toronto Blue Jays going forward, but what an absolute game by the Jays. And let's just start with the hitting. Let's get right into it. Huge shout out to Justin Turner. The top of the ninth, obviously, the Jays had a few chances. The offense did look better than it did in yesterday's game. Even the first inning, we had a chance with Justin Turner. He hit a double off the wall. Bo Bichette got rounded or waved home by Carlos Feebles, and he goes out at the plate, and we're thinking, okay, I understand the send. Obviously, they couldn't get any more, worse than it did yesterday when they didn't score a run. Couldn't get any worse than that. So you send him, and obviously was out, and the Jays did not score a run for the rest of the game until the very end when Davis Schneider steps up with 2 outs. And I'm going to play you the clip, and I'm going to leave the audio in. Enjoy Dan Shulman's unbelievable call of this in case you missed it. But wow, what a game. I'm happy baseball is back. Obviously, it wasn't the best offense, and we're going to get into the pitching as well, but I'm going to play the clip for you and enjoy it right now.
Varsho's running, and Schneider hits one high and deep to left center, and it is gone!
And there it is. I mean, Davis Schneider, just an unbelievable at-bat, and I'm going to play it back now without the audio again, and hanging slider. Davis Schneider absolutely crushes off-speed pitches. He's been doing it for his whole career, his whole short major league career, and look at that. 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the ninth. Just an unbelievable hit. And I cannot express this enough. With how bad this offense has been, obviously there's still some underlying concerns here about the offense, but in the moment, I'm just going to enjoy it. The Jays needed this so bad. They're now 3-3. They're back to 500. Their backs were against the wall. They finally got a clutch hit with runners in scoring position. These are the games last year where they obviously lost. They would not have that fight in them. Vladdy got on base to lead off the ninth against Josh Hader. Bo Bichette got into a double play. And then Justin Turner, unbelievable game for him. He went 3 for 3. And he went out there, he walked, and he was able to get on base for Davis Schneider, who was in the lineup today, 2nd home run of the year, and just hits the absolute moonshot. Obviously, Clement got a hit, IKF got a hit. The offense, it was pretty bad, but they were getting on base a little bit. They just weren't able to drive any of them home, especially in the first inning there when Bo Bichette kind of got waved home and was out. But I'm so fired up. I did not think I was going to be making a video. We obviously made a video earlier today, and I wasn't going to make a video on this because of how interesting the game was and how kind of it wasn't boring. I'm happy baseball was back, but the offense was pretty bad. But then this happened, and there was nothing to complain about with that. Just an unbelievable game by the I can't even say an unbelievable game. An unbelievable inning by the Toronto Blue Jays, specifically Davis Schneider, and shout out to Vladdy and Justin Turner with 2 outs against Josh Hader with no one on to set up that walk to the chance to put them in the lead. But we have to give some props now to the pitching because, wow, the Toronto Blue Jays pitching staff, this is what their bread and butter is. Unbelievable the whole year last year. Unbelievable today. Jose Barrios, an absolute dominant. Another unbelievable start against a very good hitting team in the Houston Astros. And they're starting to show it again with some of their long moonshots. And Jimmy Garcia, an absolute masterclass by him. He was put into a very tough spot. I believe it was 1st and 3rd with nobody out. And he got out of it without giving up a single run to keep it to a 1-run game. Jimmy Garcia is the MVP of the game. Davis Schneider is the MVP, but Jimmy Garcia is the MVP pitcher alongside, I guess, Jose Barrios, Jose Barrios is back to being prime Jose Barrios like we saw, last year and before that in his career. But Jimmy Garcia, absolutely dominant, 98 miles per hour he topped up at. Tim Meza did his thing as well, and Chad Green, huge shout out to him, made a little bit scary there with the Bo error in the bottom of the ninth. I don't know if that should have been considered an error. It was a very, very difficult play on both ends from Bo and Vladdy, but a little bit scary. And then Chad McCormick tried to steal second with 1 out, tripped, and then ultimately got out there. And then obviously to end the game, we got the fly out to left field to Dalton Varsho, but I'm just so happy. I don't even know how to put it into words. Obviously, the Jays' start to the season has been up and down. We've had a few, super high points, big wins, some really bad low points. Yesterday, getting no hit. They went out today and they got how many hits? 5, 6, 7, 8 hits, so much better. Obviously, you still are looking for guys like Dalton. Well, obviously, Dalton Varsho didn't play. He got a pinch runner and then played in the field. But guys like Alejandro Kirk, Kevin Kiermaier, those two guys in particular have been really bad. Kevin Kiermaier has been awful, and Alejandro Kirk has been awful. And that's a big problem going forward because this offense, if they want to perform, obviously you need Vladdy and you need Bo and you need the top guys. Bo was back tonight. Shout out to him for at least coming back. But Kevin Kiermaier is going to have to start performing. He's hitting, I think, .70 or .60 now after tonight's game, and it's unacceptable. Same with Alejandro Kirk. He's not hitting well at all. So hopefully that starts to regress back to the mean for these guys. But in the meantime, you're going to have to just survive on clutch hits because the Blue Jays have the pitching and they have the bullpen to make a deep playoff run and to make the playoffs. Even with, and we saw tonight, the bullpen held the Houston Astros to 0 runs despite not having their two best relievers in Eric Swanson and Jordan Romano, who are on their way back and will be back soon. The bullpen, when we get those two back, are going to be unbelievable. And then hopefully when we get Danny Jansen back, he'll be able to give Kirk some time off and allow Alejandro Kirk to get some time off and hopefully be able to get himself back to where we're hoping he was, even in the spring where he was. But in the meantime, you got to ride Davis Schneider's hot hand here because, he has 2 home runs in both games he's played. Yes, he's going to strike out a lot. Yes, he's his plate discipline's not the best, and in the field he can play everywhere, but he made a mistake there in left field that ultimately didn't cost him. But you're going to live with those mistakes in the field, those strikeouts. If you're going to get absolute moonshots like this, I'm going to show it to you guys again in case you missed it. Go ahead and watch the clip on Twitter as well after you finish watching this video. But the feeling all of us Jays fans got, it was like a weight lifted off of our shoulders. Obviously, we wanted the Jays a huge win, like even just standings-wise, a very big win. It's early in the year, but like Peter and I have been saying, and me and Peter have been saying all along that every win, especially against interdivisional rivals in the AL East like the Tampa Bay Rays, but every win going forward is going to matter, and we will look back at the end of the season, and this specific game could matter, just like it did in 2021, where Marcus Semien had the easy throw against the Detroit Tigers to win that game with 2 outs, and he made the error, and we ultimately missed the playoffs by 1 game. This hit right here could be a deciding factor going forward, so we got to ride the highs, and you also got to ride the lows out as well, because the lows are we saw it yesterday, and we saw it for 9 innings or 8 2/3 innings of tonight's game. But that'll wrap it up. 9 innings of baseball was rough, and then 1 hit changes everything for the Jays. And I'm super excited that happened. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to check out a video from earlier, lots of news to go over, click on your screen right now, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks, Jays.